Hey guys, this is Krista from the Moratorium. Do you like grisly gore and mysteries? Of course you do. That is why I suggest you subscribe to my blog, Suspended Animation, Dormant Stories Waiting to be Told, where we at the Moratorium offer a number of lurid tales from axemen running around New Orleans to phantoms in Texarkana. And if you're feeling especially generous, head over to our Patreon, where for just a couple bucks a month, you can help the Moratorium grow. And that would be pretty kick-ass. And remember, long live VHS.
Here at the Moratorium, we pride ourselves in our rich, thoughtful humor. We want to create a creative space where all can come and not just watch a gritty, low-budget horror film, but experience it through the eyes of two men who pride themselves on quality entertainment. Here for more on this subject is the very star of this film, Belial. Cue the music.
And in 3, 2, 1, I already forgot it.
You will be soon as big as a giant, or like all the others, dead.
You think I imagined all of it, don't you? You think I'm insane?
That's feng shui.
A match made in a bathroom, just floating into the void.
Well, let me tell you.
Whatever. This how you're starting it off?
There is a basket case musical.
Yes.
You knew this. You didn't tell me about it.
It's been a while, right? I mean, is it still a thing?
Well, I mean, this is on video.
Mm-hmm.
It's on YouTube, and it looks like it was just put out in 2021. I can't find any real information about it.
Oh.
And maybe something that actually happened, and then they decided to make a movie over the musical.
Yes. Right.
Because this is, it's feature length.
Right.
It's black and white.
Oh, boy.
The songs are well done. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to be singing this shit in my head for the rest of the night.
Nice. I think this movie deserves a musical.
It was fun. The music numbers were good. The girl who is in it, I guess playing the Beverly Bonner character in the movie, she is like the love interest. I think they just combined the characters just because of, want to keep it small and lack of settings.
I see. So she's his neighbor, but also his love interest, I guess.
Right. She comes in and actually she brings a bottle of liquor into his bedroom, and they end up getting drunk there and having that whole conversation that they had in the bar.
In the Hotel Broslin?
Right.
Did you read that's one of the only props of the movie was the sign for Hotel Broslin? Why? I didn't understand that.
That was actually hanging outside of an apartment. It may have been Kevin Van Hinterich's apartment, I think. And they built a sign to hang outside of his apartment just to get that as a shot. See, there's a whole nother thing on top of this. But anyway, to finish with the musical thing, the Beverly Bonner character, she's just very New York prostitute girl who ends up kind of falling in love with Dwayne, and in the musical. Yeah. There's a small little sex scene that she undoes her top and her bra is red. It's the only thing of color in the movie. That was everything's black and white except for the bra.
Very tasteful.
And of course, near the end of the musical, spoiler alert, yes, Belial has sex with the Beverly Bonner character, and she ends up being pregnant with...
perfect.
So.
When he does kill his blonde girlfriend in the movie, that scene where he has to come in and grab him while she's obviously still breathing is pretty gross. I don't know what Belial is doing. very excited about the whole situation.
There is a lot of shit on this film, but that scene in particular made a few of the not cast members, but the people that were helping out on the film, helping him make this, they walked off.
Right, the crew revolted at that. They're like, you know what?
This is
where I draw the line. I didn't really understand that. I mean, but then everything else you read about it, there literally were only 4 people. So 3 people kind of wandered away. Maybe that was kind of exaggerated. Maybe they just went for like a lunch break or something, and then they came back and they're like, oh, what's shaking? What are we doing here? And they say sometimes like they'll say like New Orleans is a character in the movie, like it's a whole other thing. New York is a character in this movie, and it's a really disgusting character. It's like so gross.
Well, it's all on 42nd Street, right?
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Need a hazmat suit to walk around down there.
There is a documentary about the making behind the scenes of Basket's Case 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Wow. I did not watch anything. Wow. Cool.
I watched this. It also kind of covered Frankenhooker. So I will be filling us with all sorts of information from this little documentary because that was a lot of fun.
Okay, cool.
And I did watch at least the host spots from Joe Bob Briggs when they were getting ready to premiere Basket Case 3. Joe Bob Briggs had Frank Henenlotter up on the set.
Yes.
And they watched part 1 and part 2 and then showed the trailer for part 3.
Now, was that the old Monster Vision or is that the new last? Okay.
Nope. This is back in early 90s.
Okay,
and,
good.
Joe Bob looks young.
Well, yeah, and he's said many times that Basket Case is one of his, favorites.
And one of the biggest pieces of trivia, and I'll drop it right here, is that when Basket Case came out, the distributors put out a cut version because they cut out all the gore to try to make it more of a comedy. They were trying to appeal to the comedy crowd, and it failed. It failed. Joe Bob said that he saw the original version at Cannes, and he agreed to cover the movie. And this is before he had Henenlotter. I mean, this is way back when. Yeah. What they gave him was the cut version, and he said, no, I will not do this unless I can have the version that I saw at Cannes. So they gave him the uncut version, and he premiered it, and that's when it took off.
Right. Nice.
So he is instrumental in this movie's success and becoming such a cult classic.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I know. I read a couple of things about like Henenlotter being kind of embarrassed by the movie after it came out. I guess just because he's on record as saying he absolutely did not know what he was doing.
No.
Which I find hard to believe because, I mean, didn't win any Oscars, but I mean, like, it seems like a competent exploitation movie. I've seen worse.
I mean, he made a lot of short films, I guess, and a lot of things that were never meant to be public.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he kind of got his start. He wanted to make a feature-length film, didn't have any money, came up with this idea, and just kind of threw it together. There's one other credit that he has before this called, is it The Slice of the Knife or something like that?
Yes.
Which is 1972, I believe.
Yeah, Slash of the Knife.
Yeah, Slash of the Knife. It actually reads a parody of sex hygiene films, extolling the virtues of circumcision and the horrors of being circumcised.
Okay.
Can't find it. I tried.
Good. It's got Kevin Van Henterick. Both of the main character and the director. Their names are kind of hard to say. And it's like camel caps, like Van Helsing. It's Van Henterick.
Yeah. Camel caps? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, camel caps.
That's
what you call it when there's a capitalized letter right in the middle of something.
All right. Well, you learn something new every day. I guess I'm done. You got the rest of the podcast, Jason. I'll see you later.
Okay. See ya. Oh my God. That lasted forever. Anyway, guys. But Dwayne. Every time when I first heard Dwayne, you know what the first thing came to my head was Dwayne the bathtub, I'm drowning. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. 3rd grade. Yeah, I love 3rd grade. I want to go back to 3rd grade. I hung out at one of those frightmares with Kevin Van Hentenryck. Yeah. For a little while. I was pretty drunk. Yeah, we had a conversation, you know. It lasted probably, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes or so. Really? Yeah, he's really tall, and his hair is somewhere in between his IMDb later. You know, I assume that's from Basket Case 3. It's just normal short hair, but he has very thick, curly hair. And holy shit, I think he was growing it out a little bit when I saw him. It looked like something one of the Mandrell sisters had back in the day. He has huge hair. In the documentary thing, yeah, he's kind of got still that huge hair, but it's all gray. Yeah. And I guess he's in a band as well. Brother. He does cement sculpture. That's what he does. What? Oh my God. That sounds incredible. Sounds like the life. Have we said who we are, what we're doing? Not at all. Should we? We just jumped right in. Yeah, let's say. At this point, okay. You go first, and I'll say. No, you go first, and I'll start to say it when you say it. No. Negatory to Buddy. No. Don't pass that on me now. No. All right. Welcome to the Moratorium. There you go. That's it. We're watching Basket Case. I'm Tim. That's Jason. Let's get on with it. Hi. It's a wicker basket. A wicker. King of the wicker people. Just wanted to clarify that. Have you seen Basket Case 2 or 3? I think I've seen part 2, but after watching the documentary that showed me more and more scenes, I'm like, I want to see it. Yeah. If I have, I don't remember shit. Right. But they went all out on the special effects on that and created so many monster makeups. And again, with part 3 as well, they had so many makeups, but they said that the characters had a hard time breathing and drinking. Yeah. They weren't necessarily, they were made for looks. They weren't made to be worn all day. Chemicals that they were made out of were just causing them to pass out in the middle of filming. That sounds awful. Have you seen either one of those? I don't think I have, but I know Beverly Bonner's in both of them, correct? She's in all 3 of them. I love her. She does a lot of heavy lifting in this movie because the cast are, man, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I didn't realize she died. Oh. She passed away last year. COVID related? Undisclosed. Oh gosh, she was 77, so I mean, you know. Yeah. But she's great in this movie. I think she went on to do kind of her own thing with this character, like a little stage performance thing. Yeah, her name's Casey, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah, she had like a little review type thing. I don't know what exactly that what that is, but it was just about her character from yeah. It was like 30 years of her character. I mean, I know that a lot of these movies are like exploitation, sexploitation, drive-in movies. You know, I think a lot of it is the environment where you see it for the first time, you know? Yeah. Like in a grungy theater or at a drive-in or something. The experience. Yes. And that's what I tried to tell myself as I'm watching this. You know, man, I bet it would be fun to see this in the theater, you know? So you just poured popcorn on the floor and a soda and stepped around in your living room. Yeah, glued my shoes to the floor and I just lit a cigarette and let it kind of smolder up. Just sitting right behind you. Yeah. And then I just drank a bunch of water, so I had to pee during the entire thing.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway, that would have been fun. Just watching it on my computer, it's pretty rugged, pretty rough.
I enjoyed it, but yeah, I think you're right about that experience. I mean, I believe this could go on a tour and people would still flock to go see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to go to the drive-in and see it.
Which is funny because, I mean, this movie is so low budget. This is a true independent film.
I think they said they had 35,000, and that was the total.
35,000.
Total. So they started out with 16 grand, and then I think he got some more money.
And that wad of cash was what he flashes in the movie. That is, that's their budget.
His worldly possessions.
So they filmed this, he said, over the greater part of about a year.
Yep.
To keep a consistency and stuff, it was difficult. The set in the Broslin Hotel, they said that was those were canvas walls.
Right, just that little like lobby area.
The lobby where the manager sits. That's in an elevator. That's an.
Oh my god! If I was on an elevator with that guy, I would. I don't know. What is the guy that runs the hotel? What is his name? Do you know off the top of your head? Because he's my favorite character of any movie ever.
I loved him. I thought he was great.
Oh, he's just hotel manager. The actor's name is Robert Vogel.
Yes.
And he looks like David Crosby a little bit. And also...
Sure.
Yeah. A dirty, filthy David Crosby.
But I loved him. I thought he did a great job.
Yes.
Everybody in this, I mean, 90% of the people on the cast in IMDb, they do not have pictures.
And if they do, it's a scene from
this.
I want to say that Sean McCabe, the guy that played young Dwayne in the flashback, by the way, is probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I really liked it. But I think he might be like the most successful one out of all of them. He's a stuntman, apparently. And he was in Aliens, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Goldeneye, Willow, all of our favorite movies.
I will post that behind the scenes documentary and the Joe Bob Briggs thing just so everybody can see it. Everybody needs to see it. Has a lot of cool information. There's a lot of stuff on this film because it became such a cult hit.
Yeah. I think when Joe Bob did the very last drive-in for Shudder, he did Basket Case in that first season, but it is not available to watch anymore, and I don't know why. I'm assuming it's some type of licensing deal, but... Okay, wait a minute. Before we get too far into the story, I had subtitles on, of course, because I always watch movies with subtitles now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Listening to the hotel manager and Donovan, O'Donovan, they are having a very strange, interesting conversation. But gosh, even before that, when he's walking around like Times Square, I'm sorry, they show a picture of Times Square, but then he's walking down 42nd Street and...
the pimp?
Well, you said the pimp earlier. I would say that on his resume, he would be primarily a drug dealer because he gives him
the women is the last thing he mentions.
Exactly. Right. By the way, he gives him a laundry list of drugs that he has. And I'm like, where are they all? Does he have like a tote nearby in one of the alleys that he can like
get a little vending machine?
A vending machine? But yeah, I thought that was funny. He said he gives him like, I mean, it's like, man, you want some ibuprofen or you want any cherry NyQuil? I got it. But yeah, window pane, I think he says.
Yes, I wanted to know what that was.
I think it's acid. I think window pane is acid. I don't know.
I'm not hippity to lingity.
So, Donovan, I'm just going to call him Donovan. I have no idea. This is the strangest exchange in the entire movie. This sets the kind of pace that we're at. Okay, there's a guy sitting down with the requisite, booze in a paper bag, and him and the hotel manager are having a weird conversation. He says, "Dirty Lou?" ? Like, who's Dirty Lou? And the guy's like, he looks like Sparkle from cartoons or something.
I don't know what that
is. My God. I don't know why I'm
you're stuck on that.
Picking apart this conversation. It was fascinating. It was just a gross conversation with a couple of gross people. But that guy looks like the bum in Street Trash, kind of.
Yes, and I thought about that too when you get the dad sawed in half and the legs fall down. That reminded me so much of Street Trash.
Yes, yeah. And I think what's reminding us is super low budget and people that can't act. Yeah. There's also a couple of guys that are hanging out outside of Hotel Breslin, just passing a beer back and forth, drinking it, and they for sure just giving themselves each other's STDs, I think. Yes. And then there's a guy that looks like my history teacher in elementary school that says, "Company." That guy in the corner. What was that?
Just some guy.
And then he's like awkwardly in the background every time it cuts back to Dwayne. Just like looking at the back of his head. It's very strange.
Very strange.
Anyway.
I mean, when did you first see this movie? Did you watch this back in the day?
I think I saw the Joe Bob episode.
Okay.
But there was a show on Comedy Central called Drive-In Review.
Okay.
With Buzz and Tony. I don't know if you ever... I mean, This is like early Comedy Central days, like, when they were showing MST and stuff. But they did a review of it and showed a bunch of scenes from it. This type of thing isn't on like HBO and stuff like that. And then I don't think I was able to rent it until later. So I think I might have just known about it like anecdotally until something weird video came out and they actually had a DVD of it.
Let's get started in this film. I'm actually only 4 minutes into it already.
Okay, I'll back up. I'm 9 minutes into it. I've been secretly watching.
I mean, people, if they don't know this film is, go ahead and explain it to our audience. You want to read the synopsis? You want to make up your own?
Yeah, no. It's a guy with his conjoined twin in a basket.
Well, it's no longer conjoined. It's a disconjoined
how would you put
twin? Unconjoined?
Right, which they are seeking to become reconjoined, right? Because do they mention that in this movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, well then that gives me a clue that I have seen one or both of the sequels, because I think in Basket Case 2 the story is they're trying to find somebody to sew them back together.
Yeah,
oh man,
I think that's the end of the second film that they actually put them back together. But I think in part 3 they're separate again, so I'm not positive. Man. Maybe it doesn't take. I don't know.
Yeah, he just kind of like rejects Belial. His name's Belial, by the way.
Belial.
That is a biblical name.
Yeah, I was going to say, who in the Bible was named Belial?
I want to say it's a bad guy. I think it's like a demon or something. Or another name for the devil. I think the devil has like 1 billion names.
Is that it?
I mean, I could do a quick Google search, but let's just let that hang out there for a while.
So they're actually trying to find the doctors? I guess there were 4 or 5 doctors that
well, there are 3
were involved?
Oh, yeah, I guess there's 3. There's 4 altogether, and then you see them kill Lipperman? Is that his name? The first guy is
I've got it here.
Lifflander. Dr. Julius Lifflander. Okay, wait a minute. I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at him. Dr. Julius Lifflander, Dr. Harold Needleman. These all sound like John Hughes movie characters.
Okay. Judith Cutter.
Judith Cutter with a K. The movie opens on a very unfortunate looking man, and I think that is...
I guess Lifflander.
That is Lifflander. So you're just thrown right in. He's running around like a madman in his house. He's freaked out. He looks sweaty and nerdy, and
has the tiniest pistol.
Yeah, it does look like they made it out of like rolled up newspapers or something. Peter Jackson did. A hand comes up and rips his face off.
A severely deformed hand.
Yeah, very rubbery. Did you ask yourself, like I did, is Belial missing a finger?
He's missing several.
Do you think that's an accident of the prosthetic thing, or do you think that they meant it to look like that?
No. In the behind-the-scenes footage, they actually showed part of the molds that were made for the character, and it was definitely severed fingers. But they didn't even, like, trim up the mold very well. They just
you can see that. Yeah, you can see that seam where they didn't, like, get that, that little
they couldn't
flap
find the
of
scissors.
Skin. Exactly. They couldn't afford any. Like, can we borrow your scissors? No. Nope.
What are you going to do with it? Never mind. Wait. You again? No.
Oh, get out of here. But I will say that Belial, that is a cast of Van Henterick's face, I believe.
Yes.
Belial is truly terrifying. That noise that he makes, I think, also is done by Van Henterick, which is, what would you... When he's killing the doctor at the very beginning, he sounds like Bobcat Goldthwait a little bit, which is scary.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty terrifying.
I thought he sounded like every politician I've ever heard.
Ooh, boom.
Burn!
Putting politicians on blast. Just any politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of politicians, Beverly Bonner looks like she is going into her room with, kind of looks like Dick Cheney with long hair. You know, the extremely white guy that's rubbing her butt?
Oh, yeah.
So.
I'm not quite there. I was actually just walking down 42nd Street, and he passes a shop that has a sign on the wall that says, rubber goods.
Oh, God. What would that even be?
I don't want to know.
Rubber goods.
I stopped on this guy, this drug dealer, just to read some of his stuff here for what he has. He has gold Columbia smoke.
Okay.
Got acid, blotters, rainbows, window panes, speeds, downs, Seconal, Valium, mescaline, THC. I've got some good cocaine, Quaaludes, beauties, methadone, Panama Red, Angel Dust. Check it out, man. Tranquilizers, Anabuse, lithium, Thai sticks, methadone, Red Rock, junk, morphine. What do you want? Some girls? Man, what's wrong with you?
God, it's like the Micro Machines guy. Take a breath.
It's like one guy that they got off the street who was trying to sell them drugs.
Yeah.
And said, hey, you want to be in this film?
Yeah. What was the one started with an M?
I have no idea. There was mescaline was in there somewhere.
There's another one that sounded like I don't know, it was like a Alzheimer's medication or something.
Probably. You said methadone?
Methadone, yeah. You have to tell your doctor if you've been to a country where fungal infections are
prevalent.
Prevalent.
Yeah.
Prevalent. It's another drug.
I love Kevin's hair. I mean, it is some wild hair.
Yep.
Kevin Van Henterick, who's playing Dwayne, and Belial.
For a movie where everyone is wearing a wig, his real hair seems more wig-like than their hair.
That's good.
All of the women are wearing a wig. What is his girlfriend, his kind of love interest name?
Sharon.
Sharon. She is wearing a intense wig.
Yes, because in the trivia, it says she was bald.
And it doesn't elaborate on that, whether it's for
that's what you get.
A role.
Something she picked up on 42nd Street.
She had lice and had to cut it out.
Yep. And I thought she did a pretty good job in this.
Yeah.
But maybe she was turned off after she had some rubbery monster making
God.
out with her at the end of this movie. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah. I think Henenlotter told her about that, and she's like, "You're going to do what?"
But actually, it said that Susan and Kevin Hinterick, they were the only two that were not disgusted with the idea. And even when Henenlotter decided to put blood, okay, they were doing the scene. They said somebody was under the bed with a broomstick moving Belial up and down.
Gross.
And he's like, you know what this needs? This needs a lot of blood for some reason. So he added blood.
Genius.
And everybody got disgusted and left.
They must have very weak stomachs, because that was not very... I mean, there's boobies. It does kind of look like Belial is doing something down there. But it's more like a kid playing with, like, finger paints. He's just kind of slapping her stomach and making blood splash around. It doesn't really look like he's having sex. By the way, I don't think he has anything with which to...
I have that written in my notes, is I need to know anatomy better to understand this film.
I say you do not. It's best left.
So Belial is just a head, 2 arms, and
a hunchback.
Like that's kind it.
It looks like a pizza bubble with like features and hands.
Yeah. Pizza the Hut.
Exactly.
How does he breathe? I don't know. You see the back of him at one time when he's breathing.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, his lungs are now in his hunch.
Yeah. We should also say when he is not actively like in a basket, I mean, except for maybe a couple of exceptions, he is a claymation. Like when it shows him move around. What did you think about the claymation parts of this?
Probably the same thing that Henenlotter found. That when they filmed that, and this is in the behind the scenes footage stuff, right? Mm-hmm. They filmed that he was so unhappy with it that he actually threw the reel in his office and threw it on the ground and left it there for months and made himself step over it. He would not pick it up.
My God.
And it was only until later on in the film when they're like, all right, well, we need more.
Yeah.
We really, really needed to
we've
see
got
this
30 minutes of film. What can we, how can we pad this out?
But he decided to pick it up and take another look at it and decided, well, the way to get past, and this is his theory, if you can't make it scary, make it funny. And that's what they did.
I agree with that to a point. No, I just agree with that. He's right. Yeah. When you have 30 grand, you can either make it scary or funny. Yeah. I did like when they make Belial's eyes glow. It happens a couple of times. I thought that was pretty cool. He, like I said, he is terrifying looking. It's just when they try to make him move around, those little arms kind of bounce up and down, and it makes it funny. I mean, imagine Kevin Van Henterick's face with those long, like, brown fangs in it. It's kind of sexy, I must say.
I'm just 12 minutes in where we've got Kevin Van Henterick. He's just in his room, and we get to figure out that Belial and Dwayne have this mental connection.
Oh, right.
I guess because of the anatomy of Belial, he doesn't have the ability to say anything other than,
oh, my God. Yeah, that's wild.
He actually has a real voice in Dwayne's head?
Yeah, he carries on conversations with him. Dwayne also has, like, silent film makeup on. They made his face, especially when he goes to the theater later and falls asleep. And the guy tries to steal the basket. He has like an amount of eyeliner on that is crazy. And I'm not real sure why.
Sorry, Henenlotter had a friend who was running kind of she was like an instructor at an acting school. And that's how he met Henterick. And actually a lot of these actors came from that troupe.
Oh my gosh. Was it a high school in...
Maybe.
Like a community college or something?
And I think Beverly Bonner's character was only supposed to be very small, but for some reason, he liked her delivery and what she brought to the film and then made her part bigger because of it.
Yeah, she's pretty great. Yes, Beverly Bonner is just like instantly likable.
Where did he get his money?
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't state that at all.
No.
Right? He said his parents are dead. Now, we see this in the flashback, right? How did his parents die?
The mother dies of natural causes. The dad, kind of natural causes. Except for...
So is that where he got his money? But no, he was raised by his aunt, his crazy aunt that said they shouldn't have done what they did. I will love you and Belial like you were my own.
I thought that was his mom. Okay, well, I might not have paid attention enough during the flashback scene. So I'm where he goes to Needleman's office.
So he carries Belial around.
Maybe a dolly would have helped, or like a shopping cart. I don't know.
They said they couldn't afford a dolly, and all of the tracking shots in this film were done with a wheelchair.
Yes, which is great. But yeah, that has to be hard on like your lower back, especially the way he's holding it.
So to get back at all of these doctors, he's just taking Belial around in a basket to fake going to see a doctor so he can kill him.
Yes. Which, let's just say he's robbing the doctors when that happens. Is that where his money came from?
I don't know, is it?
Was it the malpractice suit that he filed after these weird doctors? By the way, this is something that happens, conjoined twins,
Yeah.
But they're acting like... what they've done is like a abomination or something like that. And that can't be good for Belial's, for
his mental state.
Yeah, his peace of mind.
Well, if only he could communicate, what's ailing you?
Yeah. Oh shit. It's a monster. Kill it with fire.
Yeah. Does it hurt here?
Yeah. Maybe if you learn sign language.
With his 3 fingers.
With those 3 fingers. All right, so he's going to see Dr. Needleman first, which is...
The receptionist is his love interest, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actress's name is Terry. What's the character's name?
We just said it a minute ago.
I know.
She has 2 credits, and we're getting it mixed up. Sharon.
Her little waiting room is just a bunch of file cabinets pushed together and then like some kind of plexiglass barrier.
Mm-hmm. It almost looks like the same exact one later. They just repurposed this.
Yes. What is all that equipment behind her? It's crazy. It's just a haphazard stack of stuff.
That may have been a Xerox machine back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Just took up half of a room.
Made of metal.
That's probably why she's bald. She got all sorts of radiation from these machines sitting directly behind her.
It's just before they knew. So he finally gets into Needleman's office. He's got one of those stamp trees that's just holding a bunch of rubber stamps.
Yeah.
I don't think the doctor is using like a ton of rubber stamps. But when you see Needleman for the first time, I think you've had this hair and facial hair combo before.
Oh, yeah? Maybe at my wedding. Right?
Maybe.
How sleazy I looked.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I bet we'll go back and look. We'll post those pictures on the website.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's office is disgusting. There's a dead plant. Well, it looks like a stick and a planter.
Yeah.
His Rolodex is disgusting.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Looks like you go to him to like get a lobotomy or something with like an ice pick.
No.
Nope. He's pretty sweaty.
Yeah.
And he has a thick southern accent, so I'm not sure. There's a lot going on with Dr. Needleman. So anyway, I guess he's just kind of casing the joint because he leaves.
I don't understand why he had to take Belial to case the joint.
Couldn't tell you. It's not like he leaves Belial there to like crawl into one of the air conditioning vents or something.
So he shows Needleman this nasty big scar on his body,
Right.
and then Needleman immediately knows
Yeah.
and starts to warn the others, right?
Yep. So from that scene, that is a disgusting Rolodex. Oof. Does Dwayne just think, I'm going to go take in a show?
Yeah, I guess.
And then just like goes to another just extremely disgusting location in New York.
It's just, so are all of these doctors in New York? And he's from upstate. Is that where he lives?
Yes.
So his family brought in the
Yes.
specialists from New York. These are the specialists that they brought in? Were they
Yes.
always like this, or
don't
or
know.
did they become like this because of what they did?
Yeah, like a cadre of just immoral, unethical butchers. Meanwhile, the lady in the red dress, you find out later, is a veterinarian,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I was like, did I miss something? Because there's cats in the waiting room. I thought she was she was like a people doctor.
I was trying to read the notes that Needleman has here.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
Dog peed on the medicine, needs new prescription.
That's pretty good.
That's Johnson called about that. I've got a phone number for Johnson here if you want to call
Oh
it.
my God, let's pull it up.
Your credit is overdue. No more deliveries unless prepaid. This is from Albertson, Roche Labs. Got a phone number here too if you want to call him back.
Okay, great. We'll do that for the Patreon or something.
Here's another note from the super. Your apartment is flooding.
That's the punchline to a dirty joke.
And the one he finds of Lifflander just says urgent.
Good, great. Any context for that? Oh, the little pink. I see what you're talking about. Yeah. All right.
The pink slips he's going through.
I also have written down, he sounds like Tiger King. He's like Southern, but he's kind of doing like a gay Southern guy.
Yeah. I'll buy that.
I'm not going to lie. I've seen this movie a lot, but I definitely had to cram to watch this with you today. And so I was watching it at 2 times speed. And the Kung Fu movie that he's watching is very fun.
I want to know what it is.
Listen to and watch at 2 times speed. Well,
I'm sure.
He's passing by one that Sonny Chiba is definitely in one of these movies that he's watching.
I thought for sure.
Yeah.
Which, rest in powers, we just lost Sonny Chiba.
Yeah. But, so I would almost assume that that's a Street Fighter movie, but, I could be wrong. Thinking. Okay. The guy in the theater that steals Belial.
Yes. That guy is rubbing his armpit and his crotch at the same time. Very unnerving.
Yes. Is he braiding his armpit hair? What is he doing? I was not turned on by that at all for a change.
Yeah, we get to see some bodily hair later.
Oh, God.
He just steals Belial because he thinks something's...
Yeah, this guy obviously is carrying around valuables.
He's got to have something valuable in there, and he just gets attacked in the bathroom.
Right. Not just old shoes that he's going to burn in the alley or something.
Right.
Just, I don't know. What would you... I mean, laundry, I would think, would be in a wicker basket. I don't know. Anyway, he gets his face ripped off too, so runs away screaming. Then we cut to Dr. Cutter, who is trying to seduce her son's friend, I guess. I don't know who that is supposed to be.
No. She says something like, no, drink some more. I like it when you're sloppy or something like that.
Yes. She's for sure seducing the kid that mows the lawn or something. But then he's like wearing a tux, like a dress shirt with a bow tie or something. I don't know.
You're cute when you slobber.
That's so gross.
Hey, you want to take a quick break real quick?
Sure.
Hey, freaksters and freakettes. It's Tim from the Moratorium. Do you like the sweet sounds of our witty banter in your ears every week? Well, head on over to our Patreon And for only $3 a month, you can get even more. In the director's cuts of our movie episodes. On average, that's 20 minutes more of our wisecracking, jive-talking, and lip-flapping laughter straight to your earholes. Go to Moratorium.com and click on our Patreon link, and you'll find 5 awesome tiers with tons of goodies. You can also find our Teespring link on the website for even more awesome merch. Thank you for your support. Now on with the show. What I read in the trivia that shortly after making this movie, I believe that Henenlotter gave up cocaine.
Oh, good. I feel like everybody in this movie is, if you see Dr. Needleman, he is, in a lot of these low-budget movies, sometimes the characters are not too far away from the people that are portraying them, And Needleman is, he's sweaty. He is visibly shaking. And I mean, it's like, I don't think him. He's playing a character. I think that's him. He is on drugs and a weirdo.
See, now maybe this makes sense because when we see the flashback scene, he's the one that injects Belial. He's with the needle, hence his name, Needleman.
That's it.
Dr. Cutter, she's the one with the knife.
My God. Knock your mic over. We're done with this podcast. Turn it up and rip the knob off.
What is the office that's across the hallway from Needleman?
Okay, in your little documentary that you watch, so you know everything.
Except that.
They said that some of the sets, and I think Hotel Broslin was one of them, were actually in a S&M club somewhere there on that strip. Because that's what they look like. With just some office stuff that they found.
In the documentary, it didn't necessarily state that there was actual cocaine being used on the set. You can just assume that. But I believe that in part 2, Henenlotter stated that he was addicted to Jolt Cola at the time.
Oh, wow. And cocaine?
Well, no, I think he gave up the cocaine and went for the Jolt Cola. He's like, why am I spending all this money on the white dust here,
Yeah.
So everybody was drinking Jolt Cola on the set.
Oh my God, and they're just out of their minds.
Exactly. Said they were just jittery and shaky all the time.
Wow.
They got Jolt Cola to be a sponsor on the movie. And they did a couple of sets, commercial sets with the creatures in part 2 to promote Jolt Cola.
Jolt Cola also filed for bankruptcy the very next year, so I guess
the next year or the next day,
right? Yeah, their offices are completely empty. Everyone just went home.
So we'll just go back. Dwayne goes to meet Sharon. She's going to show him a good time.
She doesn't explicitly. I think she says they're going to go like sightseeing or something.
Okay. But they're not doing this simultaneously with Needleman, right? But Dwayne shows up with the basket and just drops Belial off to go have a good time with Dr. Needleman.
Yes. It shows her, there's a brief scene of her locking up the office and leaving.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty creepy where Needleman is, of course he's in this like dingy, gross, wherever the hell he is, basement of an S&M club that's supposed to be his doctor's office. He pokes his head through that door and Belial is like kind of hanging on the wall. That was freaky.
Yes, it's just right beside the door. Yeah, he just flicks the light on, which is right next to Belial.
That thing that they came up with is pretty scary. I mean, it's
and gross.
Goofy.
And goofy. What does it look like to you? Because to me, and it's verified in this little documentary behind the scenes.
Well, why don't you just tell us what it is?
The same makeup effects guy came from Altered States.
Oh, it does look rubbery.
Yes. I will tell you, though, the blood, I enjoy the blood in this film. I like the consistency of the blood.
Yes. I think the special effects in this are pretty creepy. Like, you know, he's gonna kind of slaughter Needleman here, and I guess his signature move is to kind of slash him down the face, you know, kind of tear part of their face off.
Stick the fingers, what fingers he has, in their mouth.
In their mouths. Very gross. But I liked that where he kind of bisects Needleman. He cuts him in half at the waist. That effect was pretty gross. The gore on his legs. The only problem I have is, I mean, it's in all these movies, but like all the blood looks like a Jackson Pollock. Kind of like they dipped a paintbrush in and then flicked the paintbrush.
That's exactly, I think, what they were doing.
Yeah, and you probably know more than I do, but to me, blood it's never presented like that when it's outside of the body. Your thoughts?
Well, if you depends on your blood pressure. Yeah, you got somebody with high blood pressure and you stick an artery, it
really
will
squirt.
Let's just say that I've been next to a few doctors. If they use a certain gauge needle of somebody that has higher blood pressure, I will get squirted if I'm 3 foot away.
Oh my God!
Yeah. But that's coming through a tiny hole, so
right. So in that case, this movie is completely accurate. Thank you, Tim.
Well, the color of the blood may be a little bit off because the darker blood, I want you to think of this, and everybody else, this is your assignment to look this up on your own.
Yes.
I'll force feed you here. More red blood is your visceral arterial spray.
Really?
Where the darker blood is your deoxygenated blood from your venous system.
I see.
Which is a low pressure system and will not squirt like that.
Oh, so. And it's moving in from the west. A low pressure system. Okay, because I think a lot of people think the opposite. Is that why you brought that up?
Maybe. I want to break down all the tropes that have been wrong and have been presented to us incorrectly over the years. Let's break this bitch down. We're tearing down Hollywood.
I don't have that kind of time. Let's do 5 or 6, and then we'll call it a day.
After Needleman's death, he decides to take Belial back to the apartment, gives him a TV to help him, be occupied while he takes out Needleman's secretary.
Yes.
Does she not know that Needleman's dead?
No.
She doesn't know why. I'm like, I haven't been to work in days.
No, I think that happens. I think what you said earlier is correct. And these things are happening like concurrently.
No, well, I thought that, but no, I forgot about the scene where he buys Belial the TV set and turns it on for him.
I have subtitles on, and she says, I'll see you Thursday. So she's not saying I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah, he could be dead for a couple of days. We don't know what day of the week it is.
And she's like, well, this is the 3rd doctor that's died on me this month.
Yeah,
so
it's weird.
As long as they keep paying me, I'll keep showing up.
She is instantly in love with Dwayne, by the way.
Enamored.
Why, do you think?
It's that Caddyshack hair.
It's that hair. He's tall. He has a wicker basket, so he kind of like has it together a little bit. She's like, well, at least he owns a wicker basket. No one talks with everyone's in New York, but I don't think anybody really talks like that. For me to make fun of. I think maybe the doctor in the red dress a little bit has kind of a New York accent.
Yeah. Because they have this mental connection, Belial and Dwayne.
Yeah, they're like the Corsican brothers or something.
Yeah. So when he starts making out with Sharon, Belial can tell that's happening and kind of throws a fit.
Wouldn't you, Tim, if your twin was like rubbing on a woman and you were just like a little mashed potato man?
Mashed potato man.
What is he?
This stop motion was done by Henenlotter himself.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ray Harryhausen.
No. Henenlotter said that he filmed this himself one night, and actually he would do a little move, go back over, take 2 pictures, move in back and forth.
Do a couple of lines of coke.
Yeah. Exactly. That's probably exactly what happened. Now, when you see just the hands of Belial, that is also Henenlotter.
Sure.
He's wearing the gloves. Yeah. So Belial's tearing up the place just because he's mad that his brother's getting it on. And he's not
like moshing with himself.
So that's why they made it comedic. So he even, is shaking the bed.
Yeah. He's mad at that bed. Oh, maybe it's because the bed is like where they would
Oh. Which we talk about this with children in movies. You get demon children coming after you. How easy it would be to push these children down. Belial has no leverage.
Right, exactly. Although his arms look very buff, or at least the one does.
When they re-up the makeup for part 2, they made him even more buff.
Right.
I mean, if you see the arm of Belial in part 2, it's like, he's been doing some reps.
Yeah, he's doing curls.
I guess he could skip leg day.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So they open mouth kiss Dwayne and Terry or whatever her name is. What's her name?
Sharon. That is actually not the worst open mouth kiss we've seen.
That kiss was wild. There were no tongues involved, but their mouths were as wide open as they could be.
Yep. There could have been some nose in there.
Yeah. You just swallow my whole face. Thank you.
So this is Donovan that tries to go in and kill.
Donovan.
Or not kill, but to cash in on.
After Belial is like moshing in there, the entire cast from the Hotel Broslin comes in and just like, there's like 10 of them and they're all standing outside of Dwayne's room. Belial's nowhere to be found, but they see everything is just trashed. But anyway, Donovan sees that big wad of money and, he goes back later.
So Donovan goes back to try to steal the money. He gets attacked by Belial, but he's able to run back to his own apartment to die.
I didn't really understand how that was working.
If you watch them as they hear all the noise and they try to go to check it out, they actually run around the corner from where Dwayne's room is and enter in through another door that is actually going into what looks like the same room that Dwayne's room was.
Yes. It's like an M.C. Escher painting or drawing.
Which one of the guys says that, man, in the little documentary, you'll see it. And I saw it in this scene when Belial throws like the drawer of the dresser against the wall. That wall shakes pretty easily.
Yeah. That was a weird scene because through the stop motion stuff, it looks like the drawer's like coming right at you.
Oh, yes.
Great special effects.
But hey, what do you want on no budget and a lot of cocaine? Actually,
they did the best they could.
Yeah, they bought the cocaine and said, let's make a movie.
Well, I mean, that's part of any Hollywood. I mean, that's like baked in, Yeah. Obviously, there's a cocaine budget. So Belial was hiding in the toilet the entire time. They called the cops because he was making so much noise. And guy, it kind of looks like Venus Flytrap shows up. And I mean, clearly a small, weird demon twin was on the loose. But yeah, so he was hiding in the toilet the entire time. So just another layer of gross on top of everything else.
In that toilet? Yeah.
In that toilet. It's an emotional time for both of them. So Dwayne goes to the bar and sees Casey. Okay, this is the laughing scene.
Okay.
Dwayne is supposed to be drunk, and he says he doesn't drink, but they're both just like laughing like hyenas from 2 Budweisers, and
well, that was the budget for the day.
Yeah, I guess you guys get 2 beers, okay?
I guess I didn't realize when I watched this last night that he actually has Belial with him at the bar.
Yes, and explains him to Casey.
It's my brother.
But she doesn't, I don't think she catches on that
he's actually telling the truth. No.
Yes.
We were separated at birth.
God, that was a pretty painful scene to watch.
Belial is like on the cigarette machine.
Yeah, he's on like an amp or something. Just put him anywhere.
And there's a guy right next to Beverly that's like almost touching her asleep in the bar.
Yeah, and you've got you have to imagine that's a real bar that Frank Henenlotter just brought a camera into.
Oh, they did not get any permits for anything.
Nope. That's the way Larry Cohen makes movies too. And it's said in the trivia that Henenlotter, I think, was influenced by It's Alive.
It's Alive.
You know? Which, yeah, another crappy, rubbery special effect.
That we can't wait to watch.
So we're into the flashback now.
Dwayne's mother died giving birth to him and Brian.
Oh, you're right. So that is his aunt or something.
Yes.
His aunt kind of looks like the mom on that 70s show, but like...
Yeah. Just older.
Thicker. Yeah. Dwayne passes out after trying to tell Casey about Belial. So then the flashback just pretty abruptly starts.
Oh, yeah. They're 14 years old, is that correct?
12.
Which there's a caseworker coming to talk to the aunt about Belial.
Yeah.
They decided to cut him away.
Because all three of those doctors are in the house. Lipperman, Cutter, and Needleman.
I kind of like young Dwayne with Belial attached to him. I think it looks good. I know it's just somebody with their arm around the kid's back making the mouth move.
Yes, for sure.
But it's fun. I
like that scene where he's watching them discuss everything, and he's kind of in between the... it's like Ralphie in A Christmas Story when he's...
But that's just his dad complaining, right?
God.
And just saying, you got to do something. You got to just separate them. What do you want to do with the thing, I think they call it? Or
he's like, that thing's not my son.
Throw it away.
I have a son, and I have a piece of shit that's connected to my son's hip, so...
The doctor actually says, I'm not even sure it's even human.
Yes. Great.
It came out of a human.
Right.
It's attached to a human.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's human.
I'm not thinking she's going to stick to her Hippocratic oath or whatever.
So did they just transform like the kitchen into an operating room just to do this off the grid?
I think so.
So they went to grab Dwayne while he's sleeping and said, all right, tonight's the night. We've done a lot of coke. Let's get this out of here.
Hope you didn't eat anything for the last 12 hours. We're going to do major surgery in the kitchen.
Which, most of that is just so you won't vomit.
Right.
And then choke on your own vomit. Just so
exactly. The operating scene, Needleman you'd think that would be his forte, but he is... Do you see a lot of like doctors that'll just kind of stab, like bringing a needle down like a stabbing motion?
I don't think you're supposed to bring it down overhand.
I don't think so either.
They said they had a lot of fun filming this scene.
It looks fun.
Because it is just Henenlotter just flinging blood at everybody.
It looks like your typical like that red like condiment dispenser, it looks like he's just spraying it out of that, like at a Arby's or something. It does look kind of like Arby's sauce because it's not quite red enough to be, if you watch that scene where they actually pull him away after they've cut him off, basically they could have just done that. It's like when you get something that's in like a bubble container and you just use like an X-Acto knife to like cut around the... When they pull that off, Dr. Cutter is just kind of like squishing things in her hands. Like there's no reason, there's no reason for her to, she's kind of like got her hands in the wound and she's just like at a Halloween, like playing it.
It's fun to play in other people's
I imagine it would be.
They threw Belial away.
Yeah.
Like blocks away. They dropped it in front of a neighbor's house.
Yes, that's what I thought too. That's not their house. That's like the neighbor's house. Yeah. They're on vacation or something. So they figured they would just... And Dwayne wakes up in the middle of the night and he can sense where Belial is.
Well, I think Belial's kind of like telling him, hey, get up
calling
and come get
him
me. Yeah.
Right. So Dwayne's dad wakes up that guy is fucking ripped. I mean, he is just like a specimen, you know? I mean, he's already got that face and hair kind of thing going on. And then Henenlotter's like, let's do a shot without his shirt on.
Yeah.
Let's give the ladies something to
look at. Can't afford a shirt for this shot.
It looks like Jeffrey Combs' like skinnier little brother.
Well, I can buy that. Now, I love this because you hear a lot of construction going on, like saws and hammers. And is it, Dwayne's not making this contraption, right? It's Belial?
Yes. I think Belial.
One who taught Belial how to use tools.
They have like a Bob Vila book or something down there that he just kind of.
This old contraption.
Mm-hmm. This old booby trap.
But no, you hear hammering and sawing at the same time. And I'm like, that's talent.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a circular saw. There's a hand saw. There's a hammer.
Well, he's got those arms, you know, those muscly arms.
Yeah. I would like to have seen a stop motion Belial making this contraption.
Yeah, he's got like a carpenter's like belt on, you know, with like a hammer hanging in it, and
one of those square pencils behind his ear.
Yeah.
Does he have ears?
I don't think so. I think it's smooth right there.
Can we get Belial some ears?
Yeah, but he's got a bandana on and a beard.
This huge ass saw blade.
I love it.
I think it was donated to a bar that they used.
Right. Yeah. The S&M
and I think
Club.
they said it used to hang above the door or something like that until somebody stole it.
I couldn't tell if that was a prop, like that saw blade. Do you think that surely that's not a real thing?
It kind of looks real.
God, is there something that takes a 20-inch like buzzsaw blade?
Maybe if you're in a mill.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what it is.
So Dad gets chopped directly in half. Henenlotter said he kept those legs, and I think they finally just disintegrated.
Ugh.
So now that Dad's dead, the aunt comes up and says, I will take care of you.
Yes.
And your brother.
He's waiting for you to knock him off.
Yep. You can trust that I will take good care of you.
For about a week. And then I'm going to kick the
Maybe
bucket.
That's where his money came from. Now, this fireplace that they're sitting beside as she's reading, I read what she was supposedly reading a poem to him.
Yeah.
Sounded like a bedtime story.
I think it was something from a book. It was from, it's from The Tempest.
There you go. In my research, though, I could not find anything on how much money Basket Case actually brought in.
Right. But it was not it didn't have like a big release, right?
The release that it had when it finally made it to, I think they said the Waverly in New York.
Right.
It was at that theater for 2 years.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And they did midnight showings.
Right.
And Henenlotter states this when he was making Basket Case, that he was kind of going all out because he's like, nobody's going to see this anyway.
Right, yeah.
I'm just going to do the craziest crap out there and blood and gore because nobody's going to see it.
Right.
Nobody's going to judge me for what I made because nobody's going to ever see this. And then what happens? It turns out to be a cult classic.
Yeah.
This mega hit.
Right.
All right. I'm kind of exhausted. That was a lot to go over.
Yeah. Take a break. Hey. Take a break.
In the scenes now, you notice we've used the same dresser.
Yes.
In Dwayne's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
When we have Belial in the basket on the dresser,
yeah,
Henenlotter is actually inside the dresser through the cutout in the back or in the underneath of the basket. And he's playing Belial and using the hands and such. He said he's directing through a little crease that he could see a little separation in the drawer of the dresser. And he had a mirror set up across the set so he could see what was going on.
Right.
And directing from a dresser.
Why does that make it even creepier that Henenlotter is in a dresser?
What makes it strange is you see him now, you're like, he can't possibly fit in a dresser.
No.
Unless he's dismantled.
No, but when he's on coke, he like wriggles in there like a snake and just This hotel looks like it would be fun to stay at because every time anything happens, every damn resident crowds into this one hallway.
Oh.
And I mean, in the time of a pandemic, this is making me slightly nervous that all of those people, their arms are touching everybody else.
So I'm watching now as, what did we say her name was? Casey, Beverly Bonner.
Uh-huh.
She comes back to her room after she was trying to see what was in the basket.
Right.
Belial wasn't in there. We see an undressing scene.
Yep.
Tastefully done.
Yeah, you don't see... I thought for sure that he was going to have her just strip down. But no, she just gets into a happy face nightgown.
There are, I think they said 17 happy faces in this scene.
Cocaine?
Yeah,
Do you think that's what fueled that?
Maybe so. There's a clock. There's a lamp. There's happy faces all over this room. She gets into a happy face nightgown.
Yep.
Just funny. And Belial just happens to be in bed next to her as she lays down to go to sleep. She hasn't been laying down, but for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And there's a monster hand touching her, and you're not going to wake up?
Well, her apartment is really messy. So I think that maybe that's what she thought he was a pile of clothes or something. Belial sniffs her panties.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He takes a souvenir from her room.
He truly is a twisted freak of a abomination.
But we've seen the inside of this basket.
Yeah.
I want to know how his anatomy works because he's eating hot dogs and hamburgers.
Where does he poop? Is that what you're thinking?
Where does he poop?
I don't know.
Where he was in the toilet earlier. Maybe
That's
he
true.
just really had to go.
Yep. I figured that Dwayne would put some newspaper down and just kind of like a parrot, like a parakeet. What do you think about the chubby twin nurses? Any thoughts?
That was actually, I believe it was Henenlotter's cousins, maybe.
Okay.
They were twins. And one of them has a sprained wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a brace on. They gave the other one a brace just so they could be more identical.
Perfect. Nailed it, Frank.
And this is at Cutterman's office. Is that correct?
Just Cutter.
Oh, Cutter. I'm sorry. I put Needleman and Cutter together.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, really, really doesn't matter.
So she's supposed to be the veterinarian, right?
Okay.
She's a veterinarian. Her office is way more clean than
Needleman's.
And he was treating humans, I think.
Needleman, literally, it looked like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. It looked like his office. So I just picked up on something. He said that Lifflander, the first kind of nerdy doctor that died in his house, or died in somebody's house, was also a veterinarian. So are we missing a plot point where the only doctors they consulted were... I mean, is it
veterinary, except for Needleman, but maybe he lost his veterinary license and they said, no, you can no longer work on animals. You can only work on humans.
Injecting dewormer or something into himself.
That would have actually fit for that character too.
Yes.
To just be
horse
hooked on his own goods. Yeah.
Yep. I agree. So anyway, out of all the doctors, she seems the most... like she's up to something and she's the one that's kind of was controlling those other doctors, you know. So she seems evil. She also has dark brown eyes that are she doesn't blink a lot. And
is that why it's unnerving?
Yeah, she's very intimidating. Probably the best actor or actress in the movie also.
Sure. Oh.
Which is...
When she gets attacked by Belial, she is flailing about. She let that thing have its hand in her mouth for a long time.
At some point, you know, she's actually helping him put that thing in her mouth. You know what I mean?
Somehow Belial shoves her head into a drawer of scalpels.
Yeah.
Well, I think she has more than just scalpels because she picks up one. But there's all sorts of tools in there.
Yeah.
None of that is at all sterile, by the way.
No. Should just have a jumble of like medical instruments in a drawer.
Yeah, that's your junk drawer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you know, stuff I need to clean later. So, yeah, this scene has the pretty much the money shot of the movie, which is Belial, like, jumping up and attaching himself to her face in, like, a reverse shot.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I mean, you can obviously tell it's a reverse shot because her head is moving kind of unnaturally, but...
When he actually gets the kill and you get the 5 or 6 blades coming out of her face, the scalpels stuck in her face, that looks pretty good. That looks like fun.
She just stands there and screams for a full minute.
I think when this movie was being wide released, Henenlotter was going to go see it, and he noticed there was a line of people around the corner, and many of them, some of them had wicker baskets as well. Nice.
They had already started the cosplay.
And he met somebody who was like, what's going on here? He's like, they're all here to see our movie. And he was kind of terrified. He's like, oh my God, because again, he thought nobody was going to see it.
This seems like a very personal movie, like we said earlier. And, man, to like put yourself out there like that would be scary, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and the cocaine's making you paranoid anyway. So, yep. So she dies screaming with scalpels. I mean, I assume she dies.
Sure.
I think we're meant to think that Belial rips her tongue out, but the special effects don't quite convince me of that.
That was a lot of blood coming out of her mouth.
It was a lot of blood, or jam, whatever. It was something.
I got to hand it to Sharon's wig here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an obvious wig, but it's on there pretty good.
Yeah, the part looks
and
good.
If she's totally bald and they glue it to her?
I don't know.
I think I see a staple there.
Her wig is the best actress in the entire movie. Her wig has a SAG card.
Is it now that she comes to Dwayne and says, hey, my boss is dead?
My boss is dead.
We need to make out?
My tits are on fire. Let's get this going.
Put the basket down and then put your poodle in my basket.
I guess. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I almost stopped myself from saying it. So.
Yeah. All right. So they are making out again in a it's like they don't understand how their mouths work. No. Or at least she might, but he doesn't.
I almost expected her to be a mutant as well.
Yeah, like show him some weird thing when he takes her shirt off.
Which I think in part 2, they did make the love interest be a mutant thing. And it had.
Yeah, it had a very elaborate looking, like alien level looking thing attached.
Yeah. I think they were going to have something come out of her vagina.
Yeah.
And
seems right on par for Henenlotter.
Yeah. But no, they ended up just having it come out her stomach.
So they're making out. Belial jumps out. Dwayne wraps her in a nasty sheet and then just like throws her out into the hall.
Just throws her out in the hallway. Yeah.
She looked like she bonked her head pretty good.
So yeah, he just didn't want her to see his ugly bits.
I think he was pissed off because Belial once again is cock blocking him and he was almost there. Yeah. Yeah. It's not Al Green. You don't want Belial to set the mood for your makeout session. I think it would be better if he was just there and, you know, she just kind of does that thing where she kind of like opens one eye and, you know.
Yeah. He's over there with a camcorder.
Yep, exactly.
I would have bought that.
Bottle of lotion.
It did say in some of the trivia there, every time you hear the Foley of footsteps.
Yes.
It was Henenlotter in high heels.
Yeah.
So just thought I should share that with you.
It's unfortunate.
When Belial comes back out of the basket, when Dwayne's finally fallen asleep, he looks like he has some eyeshadow on.
Yeah.
He's got some makeup, a little rouge.
Got in mommy's purse, I guess. I don't know.
But when you get the close-up with the glowing eyes and the eyes start bulging out of his head, it's kind of freaky.
I figured out who Dwayne looks like. He looks like Brian May from Queen.
Ah, okay.
He's got the same volume of hair. And speaking of volume of hair, here's Dwayne's pubes. We knew you all wanted to see him.
And guess what, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
The carpet matches the drapes.
Oh, yeah. You waited for An hour and 22 minutes, and here it is.
Yep. You wanted to see some nudity?
Yeah,
you got some nudity.
You didn't specify.
So is this Belial living vicariously through...
Yeah, I think it is
the memories and dreams?
Well, that is weird because, yeah, that is strange.
I think what he was trying to pull off here, I think originally they were going to try to get Belial to go down 42nd Street.
Right.
And they couldn't do it. So in the middle of the night, they got Kevin to do this. He stripped down naked. And he said it was in February, so it was really freaking cold.
Oh, God.
I'm like, yeah, make excuses, bud.
Exactly. Shrinkage.
He was running down the sidewalk, and they swept off the sidewalk first because he was barefoot.
Yeah.
He had a motorcycle accident recently before this scene, so he's kind of limping as well. Mm-hmm. They basically had a lookout on both ends of the block and would say, okay, there's no cars coming, and he would just get out and run down. I think they had a car at each end of the block that he could get into and at least warm up before they did the shot again.
Good Lord.
They did this over a series of runs down the sidewalk.
Well, it paid off.
Did it? At least in 2 bits? Yeah, you can see him limping here a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're not looking at his legs a lot.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Is Belial just projecting this or is he in... I think they're sharing memories, so... Dwayne thinks he's having a dream about going in and having sex with Sharon.
Right.
When it's actually Belial that went down the sidewalk to go in and have sex with Sharon.
Oh, because they're both there, though, at the same time. At her house or whatever.
Dwayne wakes up and goes to find her.
Okay. So that...
And him together,
okay.
Right?
I guess. It's like American Werewolf in London, where he kind of
That's kind of what it seemed like,
okay.
Yeah. Well, you see the caressing, the hand on.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Sharon has the most manly feet ever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Other body parts, not so much, but her feet are definitely man feet. She's got hobbit toes.
Yeah, but she does kind of like, when you see her, it's like, oh, she was like,
yeah.
I was going to say.
She's very nude.
Yeah, she's extremely nude.
But I think that what we're made to believe here, it's not Kevin, it's not Dwayne's hand that is caressing her. Right. It's actually Belial.
Right. But
because they have shared memory.
Yeah.
Kevin's having a wet dream back at the house and Belial's the one's getting off.
Ew. Wet being like covered in sweat. That type of wet dream.
It's called a sweat dream.
Yep. So Dwayne shows up and
we see this in a lot of movies. I wanted to bring this up because I actually watched The Mutilator the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen that in a while, that's a lot of fun, just for gory effects.
That's the one with the guy has a meat hook on the front of it?
Right.
Okay.
It's a giant, fishing hook.
Right. Yeah.
And yes, it does get put in some awkward places. I'm not going to tell you anything. But anyway, there are some scenes that we have seen that women are getting accosted while they're sleeping and not waking up. I'm sorry. If you pull a sheet off of me in the middle of the night, I'm waking my ass up.
Yeah, I'm instantly awake and going for a weapon.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
I think that what they're trying to say is that women have no nerve endings.
Yeah, exactly.
And can be raped in the middle of the night by a half-bodied twin.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call him. Monstrous twin.
Like a biscuit dough ball or something.
And not wake up until penetration.
Yeah. Maybe she got with that guy from the very beginning and got some like Seconal or like whatever else he had.
She took some window panes.
Seems like if you don't look out in New York, you just did a drug and you didn't even know it.
Yeah. So Belial's raping the woman. I didn't think she was dead at first, but because she was breathing.
Yes, she is breathing like noticeably throughout. I mean, seems like she was breathing heavy in a scene when she shouldn't be breathing at all. But
yeah,
but I'm not an actress, so I don't know.
But we're to believe she's dead, right? She's dead.
Belial is like, he looks like he's in a high chair playing with his food. That's what he's kind of like bouncing up and down, slapping his hands.
Except, when Dwayne picks him up, there is just drips of blood. Yeah. They just threw what leftover blood they had. I assume that they had such a low budget that they reused everything.
Oh, for sure.
So any of the blood scenes, somebody was like mopping it up to reuse it later.
Yeah, I agree.
So Kevin's become very unhinged.
Yeah, he's upset, and rightfully so, because his girlfriend just got killed by him.
Not only did you cock block me, you raped my girlfriend.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'd be upset too. So he stuffs him back in the basket, runs back to his apartment, right?
While flinging him and thrusting that basket against
he's really
every light post.
Yeah, he's really doing some, it's like Michael and...
It's like the finger that turned into the
bug.
To the wild bug in Phantasm. Yeah, they're really flinging around.
They went to mime school for over a year to pull that off. Very convincing.
So it's probably like 2 a.m., and I just assume this is just kind of like New York when
nobody sleeps.
Everybody shows up at the blink of an eye,
Everybody's on cocaine. Nobody sleeps.
Is that what that's what Huey Lewis was singing about, right?
Oh, yeah.
So everybody comes to Dwayne's apartment. They bust in.
The whole cast. Well, the ones that are still alive.
He's screaming at Belial, throwing a fit. Belial comes out and grabs him by the cock.
Yeah.
And
squeezes
lifts him up in the air.
Yeah.
This is still, we talk about leverage.
Yeah.
I know he's strong.
Right.
But
it's like a severed head talking in a movie, It doesn't really have lungs or any type of, just going to suspend disbelief.
Belial attacks him. They fall out the window and do their version of Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone.
Give me your hand. No, it's like it's like Witness, when she's like sinking into the.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I could buy that.
Yeah.
But instead of holding onto his hand, he's holding on to, his throat.
Right.
I'll save you, brother.
Goes from scrote to throat.
Oh, man.
Right?
You had that written down, didn't you?
I've been hanging out with you too long. That's what's happening.
Scrote to throat. Can I have that on a shirt?
Sure. You can put anything on a shirt.
All right. So he dies like he was born with Belial.
Yep. With
kind of attached to him, looks like.
Yep. I didn't even really think about that. But yeah, he's kind of in the same placement that he was.
I think that Henenlotter thought about this when everybody was asking when you're going to come out with part 2. And he didn't necessarily want to come out with a sequel directly after. And he just killed off his main 2 characters,
right.
Yeah. All the doctors are dead. He didn't want to have to, there's a 4th doctor.
Right.
Or, they threw around the idea that there was a triplet,
Right.
And no, he didn't want to do that. That's why he sat on it for so long before he made the sequel and then wanted to take it a total different direction. And I think it was probably the wise thing to do. Granted, I'm going to have to go back and watch part 2, but the amount of effects that were in that movie, it looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
This one, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they had zero money. What do you expect on zero money?
Yeah.
You don't expect a freaking cult classic.
Yeah, they had that perfect kind of chemistry that made that happen. I think a lot of it is just New York.
Yeah.
I think all of those quote-unquote actors were just people, that were just being themselves.
Yeah, they weren't necessarily. That's why they have 0 credits after this, too.
Right? I want to follow up with the hotel manager so badly. See where he is at.
6 foot under, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Too bad.
In the trivia here, it does say that Frank Henenlotter admits that he didn't really know what he was doing while making this film. As such, he actively experimented with tone. If a scene wasn't scary, it could be funny. If the scene wasn't funny, then at least it could be entertaining for its shock value. Hence, throw a lot of blood on it.
That checks out.
Yeah.
They have brain damage masks, like COVID masks. Gotta get one of those.
Film critic Rex Reed
What did he have to say
that
about
Basket Case was the sickest movie he's ever seen.
Wow. What a fuddy-duddy.
The quote wound up being featured on the movie poster.
Yes. Turned it right around on you, Rex.
Yeah.
He had a vision.
He did. Anyway, a fun freaking movie. Though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not necessarily a scary movie.
No. Yeah. It does have one very ridiculous prop that you're looking at the majority of the time, which is, I mean, if you just look at a still picture of Belial, it is fucking scary.
Yeah.
Then you watch him like have to be able to move around and then it gets a little less scary, but I love it. Very unique.
All right. Well, that's Basket Case, guys.
You're welcome.
Lots of freaking fun. Henenlotter said at the end of that documentary that he's been toying around with the idea for part 4.
Wow. And by toying around, what do you think?
Cocaine.
Okay, he's back on it. He's like, I got to get in that original...
That frame of mind that I was in.
Yep.
Anyway, there's a lot more to say about this film, and I'm sure that many others have said it, but I've enjoyed this, and I will revisit this movie from time to time because it's
a classic.
It's just fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Jason, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can go to themoratorium.com.
That's right. You've probably already found us if you're listening to us this far in. If you found us by mistake, please rewind and start over.
Yes.
Please return your tables to the upright position as we are clear for landing.
You do that really well.
Oh, thank you. But when it comes to making up my own lines, I get that.
Yeah, that's when it really falls apart. That's when the wheels fall
When
off.
it's written down, I can't read. We're shit, guys.
Right.
If your name has a Z in it, I'm going to get it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hinter.
Nope.
Can't even say it now. Hinterick. Van Hinterick.
That's what I thought too, but then there's another N in there. Hintonrick.
Oh my God.
That's what was tripping me up.
I've had it wrong this entire time.
Yeah.
What do you want for free, guys?
Exactly.
Speaking of free stuff.
Oh.
Hey guys,
Segue.
we need your help to keep this. We need your help to keep this going. Hey, here at the Moratorium, we don't ask for much, but if you want to go on over to our Patreon and throw us a few bones, we'll love you for it. We'll love you a long time.
Okay.
You can help support this podcast for as little as $1 a month, but if you want to give us a little bit more, we'll give you a little bit more back. For $3 a month, I'm going to give you the director's cuts to our movie episodes. That's right, guys. I'm going to be saving 20 to 30 minutes just for our Patreon subscribers. That's right.
Call them the prime cuts.
Yeah. Ooh, those are juicy prime cuts right there. If you want to give us a little bit more, I'll give you a little bit more back too. For $10 a month, I will start handing out some freebies. I've got some stickers. I've got membership cards. I've got VHS night lights. For a little bit more, you can get t-shirts, and I can even make you a horse head bookend. There's only 2 of those that exist right now.
Flying off the shelves.
And I'll get everybody to sign it from the cast here.
Yeah.
That means me and you, Jim.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying
So
to
let's
think.
not forget the people that help bring this show together, right?
Right.
Who we got over there? Nancy? Nancy?
Yeah.
She's over there on the drums.
Yeah. Crazy Carl. Haven't seen him in weeks.
Now, I would like to thank everybody that does help support us. All right. Our Patreon subscribers. Thank you very much. We can't do it without you. Can't do it without our listeners. Thank you, everybody. Go on over to our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram to find out our daily posts. I'm going to be throwing some more fun stuff out there. Look out for our mini moratoriums that I'm going to try to keep putting out every Friday. That'll give you a little teaser of some outside stuff that I'm watching. What else you got, Jason? Anything?
Ain't got nothing.
I ain't got nothing? Well, let's shut this bitch down.
All right, then. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to The Moratorium, an MT Cornfield production. Well, that's over with. Are we any better for it? I seriously doubt it. To quote the old philosopher, Coghlan, the luck is gone and the brain is shot, but the liquor we still got. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS. Rubber goods?
Oh, God. What would that even be?
I don't want to know.
Rubber goods.